Hello friends, welcome back to Story Time. Today the story is about the magic tree house, Merlin Missions, Carnival at Candlelight. Magic tree house, Merlin Missions, Carnival at Candlelight by Mary Pope Osborne. Chapter 3, The Grand Lady of the Lagoon. The gondola glided toward a landing at the edge of the canal. As the gondolier tied up the boat, water was sloshing from the canal onto a wide walkway filled with carnival goers. The gondolier reached a gloved hand toward Annie and helped her out of the boat. He then held out a hand to Jack. When Jack grabbed it, he was surprised that the gondolier's hand felt small under the white glove, like a kid's hand. As soon as Jack had stepped out of the boat, the gondolier untied the rope, pushed off from the landing, and began rowing away. "Bye! Thanks!" called Annie. The two strangers in the white bird masks waved. Jack and Annie watched the gondola disappear over the choppy waters. Then they looked back at the shore. The carnival crowd was parading up and down the wide walkway along the canal. "Hey, look," said Annie. "There is a bunch of people dressed like us, and like the two people in our gondola." Jack saw lots of black cloaks, bird masks, funny hats, and ruffled collars. He also saw people dressed as chickens, pirates, and knights. None of the costumed people seemed to mind the water spilling over the edge of the canal, soaking their boots and slippers. As Jack and Annie stared at the crowd, a distant bell began to ring. The bell rang 9 times. "I guess that means it's 9 o'clock," said Jack. Just then another bell began to chime. Jack counted again. This time 10 chimes rang out. "10?" said Jack, puzzled. "So what time is it? 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock?" "Don't worry about that now," said Annie. "I think I see the Grand Lady of the Lagoon." "Where?" said Jack. Annie pointed to a tall woman at the edge of the parade. She was wearing a black mask. She wore piles of jewelry, a white wig, and a white hoop skirt. Jack and Annie moved toward the lady. "Excuse me," said Annie. "Hi." The lady looked at Annie. "Hello," she said in a deep man's voice. "Wow," said Jack, stepping back. Annie laughed. "You are a man," she said. "Of course," said the man. "But for Carnival, I am a very beautiful lady." "No?" "We are looking for someone called the Grand Lady of," started Annie. But before she could finish, a giant chicken grabbed the man's hand and pulled him away into the crowd. "Oh, brother," said Jack, looking around. Lots of people were dressed as grand ladies. How are we supposed to know who to visit? "Maybe it's time to use one of Kathleen and Teddy's rhymes," said Annie. "No, we should save our rhymes," said Jack. "Then let's just skip visiting the Grand Lady of the Lagoon for now," said Annie. "What's the next thing Merlin tells us to do?" Jack looked at Merlin's directions and read aloud. To find out where you need to go, seek out a painter named Tipolo. Good, that's clear, said Jack. Let's see if Tipolo is in our research book. As the noisy crowd celebrated around them, Jack pulled out the book. He stood near a lantern and looked in the index. He's here, said Jack. He turned to the right page and read. Tipolo was one of the greatest painters of Venice in the 1700s. He painted bright, beautiful oil paintings for palaces and villas. If the guy is so famous, people must know where he lives, said Annie. Excuse me, she called to a clown walking by. Can you tell us where the painter Tipolo lives? Near the church of San Felice, the clown said. Thanks, said Annie. But you won't find him home now, the clown called over his shoulder. He is in Milan, painting. Where is that? Shouted Jack. Over a day's ride on horseback, said the clown. Then he disappeared into the crowd. Said Annie. Do you think Merlin wants us to go to Milan? We don't have time, said Jack. I think we have to skip Tipolo too. Yeah, said Annie. Hey, maybe we should just skip all this stuff and try to find the ruler of the seas on our own. Our letter says he's the only one who can help us save the grand lady. I don't know, said Jack. In his letter, Merlin tells us to be patient. But Annie was already calling to a pirate passing by. Sir, do you know where we can find the ruler of the seas? What? Shouted the pirate. The ruler? Do you know where he lives? Yelled Annie. In the palace of St. Mark's Square, said the pirate. Where is that? Annie called. But the pirate had disappeared into the crowd. I will look up St. Mark's Square, said Jack. He turned the pages of their book until he came to a map of Venice. Oh, cool, he said. Jack loved maps. Okay, let's see, Jack said. We are here. He pointed to the walkway along the canal on the map. And we want to go to St. Mark's Square. He pointed to another place on the map. It's really close. Yeah, and it looks like everyone else is headed there too, said Annie. Come on. So if we go to this way, said Jack. He traced their route with his finger. Come on, Jack, called Annie. Jack looked up from the map. Annie was already walking with the crowd. Jack closed the book and hurried after her. Soon they came to a huge open square. Wow, Jack said breathlessly. St. Mark's Square was filled with candlelight and musicians. Acrobats balanced on tightropes. Boxers boxed in a ring. Knights fenced with swords. Clowns walked on tall stilts, raised wheelbarrows, and tried to catch live eels in their mouths. All around the square were candlelit buildings. Venice is beautiful, said Annie. Yeah, said Jack. He looked back at their book. He found an illustration of St. Mark's Square. Jack read the descriptions of the buildings. The watchtower of St. Mark's Square is the tallest building in Venice. The weather vane on top once held sailors by showing them which way the wind was blowing. Jack looked up. I can barely see the weather vane up there, he said. But I think it's pointing north. So the wind must be blowing from the south. What about the ruler's palace? Where is that? Asked Annie. Jack read on. The clock tower is one of the most beautiful towers in the world. On top of the tower, a bell is struck every hour by. Jack skipped to the ruler's palace, interrupted Annie. Please. Okay, said Jack. He read about the palace. The palace of Venice ruler is one of the most splendid structures ever built. It has a great hall where as many as 2,000 nobles once met to discuss city matters. It also holds the city's grim prison cells. Above the palace door is a sculpture of Saint Mark showing a book to a winged lion. There is the palace door, said Annie. Jack looked up from the map. Annie was heading toward a huge door with a sculpture of a man and a winged lion above it. Jack closed the book and hurried to catch up to her. A guard was standing by the palace door. The guard wore a uniform and held a rifle. Wait, Jack whispered. Is he a real god? Or is that just a costume? I will find out, said Annie. She walked over to the guard. Excuse me, sir. Is the ruler of Venice inside the palace now? Begone, clown, the guard said gruffly. But it's important, said Annie. We need to talk to him about something. I said begone. The guard growled. I am tired of clowns wasting my time. She is not really a clown, said Jack, coming forward. We are on a mission. We. Go, both of you, or else, roared the guard. He held up his rifle. He is definitely not wearing a costume, thought Jack. Okay, sorry, said Jack. He and Annie moved away from the palace entrance. What a grouchy guy, said Annie. He will never let us in, said Jack. Maybe it's time to use one of Teddy and Kathleen's rhymes, said Annie. Maybe we should turn into ducks. The guard wouldn't mind if a couple of ducks. No, said Jack. We have to save our rhymes. Well, how will we get inside? Annie asked. Patience, said Jack. Remember. Before we could finish, Annie broke in. Hey, look. 2 clowns on stilts were dancing around the guard. One grabbed the guard's rifle and tossed it to the other. Hey, the guard yelled. Give that back. Now is our chance, said Annie. Quick! She ran to the entrance and slipped through the door. Oh, no. Oh, man, said Jack. While the guard chased after the 2 clowns on stilts, Jack rushed to the doorway of the palace and slipped inside too. Thanks for watching the video. Continue the remaining chapters in my next video. Thanks again. Bye.